Hey guys, first of all, I want to apologize if I'm going to sound like I'm going to ramble a lot here. It's early. It's about 7:30. I've got an hour and 35 minutes, I should say, till I have to leave for work. But I wanted to come on here and talk about something that's been on my mind for a while. You see, The Bad Guys, which is a recent release by DreamWorks, the newest animated film, which a lot of people have given praise to as DreamWorks returning to its roots, basically returning to form, because it's a movie that doesn't seem like it's trying to talk down to its audience or meant for a younger audience, but it's a movie meant for everybody. Just by the way it's been promoted, and also by the way, things are kind of described by those that went and saw it, and even shown in certain featurettes, clips, and another means of kind of seeing what the movie is about visually by those that may, here on the internet, upload certain clips and everything, if not the whole movie, depending on how they have, access to it. But anyway, to get to the point of this, one of the things that a lot of DreamWorks films, as of late, whether they're meant for everybody or an older audience or even a younger audience, the one thing a lot of these DreamWorks films have, in common as of late, and the bad guys may end up joining the same ranks, as these films, is the fact that a lot of them have been turned into animated series, I should say. A lot of them have gotten the animated series treatment. We know that Kung Fu Panda got it through various series through its original series on Nickelodeon and various ones on Netflix, like even the new one they got coming out real soon. We know that DreamWorks' take on Peabody and Mr. Sherman from the Rocky and Bullwinkle show, that got a series based on this movie. We know that How to Train Your Dragon got a couple of series based on its movies, and The Boss Baby, as of late, has gotten one and soon to be getting a second series based on its series of movies. So you have to wonder if the bad guys will be joining those same ranks. And even Home, I think even Home, now that I look at it, now that I look down here, yeah, even Home and Spirit, Diane and Cimarron had series based around them as well. So again, you have to wonder if the bad guys will end up joining those ranks. And with the fact that it's got a peripheral, I know I use that word a lot in my videos because that usually means a lot, from what I understand. But since the Bad Guys book series has a peripheral of, stories to pull from, I think it's, an obvious win-win for DreamWorks and whoever they get to show the series or, kind of broadcast or stream the series on. But the question is, will it happen? And how will it happen? Well, one, I think it will. There's no doubt about that. It's just a matter of time before we get that announcement. And secondly, I believe the series is going to be based on the movie. That's what I see. It could be based on the book series directly, and that'd be great for anybody that's fans of the book series. But I think, honestly, it's going to be based on the film because people are becoming more familiar with that interpretation. Now, if it happens, and again, I have no doubt it will, how would, basically, what would it be about? What would the Bad Guys animated series, when DreamWorks makes the announcement that it's going to be a series, to run alongside potential future films in the future. And I don't know why my computer just restarted. Something happened. Sorry about that. I guess my computer either crashed or it's restarting itself because it did an update. I didn't think it was going to do an update this early, but I guess something had to be updated or something. I don't know. Anyway, but hopefully, praise God, it'll be all right. But anyway, what was I? Oh yeah. Basically, what would this series be about? How would it be presented? Well, like I said, I think it's going to be based on the movie version of the bad guys, as well as I think it's going to. I think it's going to be presented as sort of a continuation of the ending, because you see in the film, and a bit of spoilers here, guys, a bit of spoilers. In the film, we find out that the most legendary, infamous, never been captured and never identified thief, the Crimson Paw, is actually the governor of California in this film, Diane Foxington, who is the love interest of the Sam Wolf, or just the Wolf character in this film. Basically the big bad wolf, if you will. She's the love interest and vice versa of him in the film. And we find out that she is as I said, the legendary, infamous, never been caught, never been identified Crimson Paw. And it's also implied at the end of the film that when I guess you could say it's some kind of like a trophy or something. I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure what it is. It's like a trophy or something. But when the trophy falls from the sky and causes a piece of meteor to fall on the real villain of the film, the hamster, if you will, I can't think of his name right now, along with it also falls the diamond, if you will, very rare diamond, the Zamboni diamond or something like that. I think that's what it's called. And when the chief, who is like I guess you could say I wouldn't say an anti-antagonist, but sort of like a kind of like a dual antagonist or dual antagonist, if you will, kind of like good and bad. Basically, she's basically, about law and order and doing what's right, but she has these like villainous, bad tendencies sometimes to her because she goes a little too far, even though she wants to do the right thing. Anyway, she notices the diamond because, the hamster had stolen the diamond from the governor. And when she looks at it, she's like, well, wait a minute, this is the Zamboni diamond. But this was stolen by, and all of a sudden she just goes, ooh. Eyes starts twitching because I think right there, when she's like, well, wait a minute, this was stolen by because she knows who it was stolen by, but then when she goes, ooh, she's kind of putting two and two together like, oh my God, our governor's the Crimson Paw. Like she's realizing that the person that's her real boss, the governor, is the thief that she and the rest of the police and law enforcement have been after. So what I feel is going to happen with the film, quite honestly, and my computer is starting to kind of hopefully work again. I think it did an update or something. But like I said, what I think is going to happen with not the film, but with the series, what I think is going to happen with the series is it's going to continue off somewhat of what happened at the end of the film. Because we see in a post-credit scene, yes, there is a post-credit scene that could lead us into a sequel, if not a series. Foxington and the formerly bad guy team are now going to be good guys. They're now going to basically be, fighting crime instead of committing it. And my theory, and I know I've been rambling for about almost 10 minutes, so I do apologize. Well, at least that's what it sounds like. My theory, basically on this entire situation, yep, and I think it did do an update. Hold on for a second. Sorry about that. I had to put my password in for my computer. But like I said, my theory is when the series happens, and again, like I said, it most definitely will. my theory is the chief kind of finally like putting like two and two together and realizing, oh my God, the governor is the Crimson Paw, and this is why she was always willing to help these bad guys out, give them a chance to redeem themselves and stuff. My speculation is she's going to try to expose the chief. Like she's going to be somewhat of a anti-protagonist. In other words, she's going to try to, do things for law and order, do what's good. But what will make her sort of an anti-protagonist is not only will she be for good, or, in other words, she'll be one of the good people, like she'll stand up for what's right, but she'll kind of be in that, what's that, who's that character from SWAT Cats? Hold on. Commander Farrell. The guy the guy that runs the enforcers in the SWAT Cat series, who had it out for Jake and Chance and T-Bone Razor when the SWAT Cats. Basically, I think that's what the chief here in the bad guys when the series happens. And again, like I said, there's no doubt that Netflix is gonna, not Netflix, but DreamWorks is gonna make this happen. I think what's gonna occur is she's gonna basically, just like the Commander Farrell in SWAT Cats, she's gonna be about law and order, doing what's right, not making deals with scum or bad guys or actual bad guys that may know certain things here and there. But she's also going to be the kind that will do whatever it takes to arrest the former bad guys, mostly Diane Foxington, because, again, she's put two and two together. And I think that'll be, really fun to see in an animated animated series, I should say, because not only do you have the former bad guys trying to do the right thing, if you will, trying to do the right thing. Not only do you have the former bad guys trying to do the right thing, by redeeming themselves and being crime fighters now, good guys and everything, using their expertise as former thieves, former bad guys to get the job done. Not only will you have them fighting crime in their own unique way to, like I said, to, kind of redeem themselves, but you'll have the chief, basically going after them as well to, not only expose them for the fact that they're still bad guys, that they can't be trusted and that they're lying to you, but mainly she'll be going after them to get her hands on Diane Foxington to expose her as the liar she is, as the fraud that she is, because of the fact that, again, as I mentioned, and I know I'm repeating myself here, I do apologize, but for the fact that, again, she's putting two and two together, and she's realizing that the governor is actually the Crimson Paw, and the one that, still did a lot of thievery, including the Zamboni diamond. So, to me, I think that'll be a fun series for DreamWorks to make based on one of the movies. Because not only are you going to be like with How to Train Your Dragon, in its various spin-off series, and as well as Kung Fu Panda and its various series, including the new one coming up, as well as in a sense the Boss Baby and in its upcoming spin-off series, and even Home and Spirit, if you will. Basically, not only will it be like a series where most of them, like the first few that I talked about, Dragon, Kung Fu Panda, and such, are aimed at an older audience. Not only do I think the series will be that, based at an older audience, older kids and teens, if you will, but I think it'll be a huge hit. I think, depending on what service picks it up, and believe me, it will be a streaming service. It might be a network too. We're not really sure, but it'll probably more than likely be a streaming service. That whatever streaming service picks it up, there is no doubt in my mind, no doubt whatsoever, that what's going to end up happening is it's going to become a huge hit, because it's going to have a bit of a familiarity for old school animation fans from like the 90s and early to mid 2000s, when it comes to shows that they used to watch, like let's say SWAT Cats and everything. It'll have that old, familiarity and stuff to it. But it'll also be bringing to animated life a lot of the stories from the book series, as not direct adaptions, but inspired adaptions of the original source. So it will be really interesting to see what they do, but I have no doubt that we are going to get an animated series based on the bad guys, because here's the thing, I'm not the only one that's pretty much feeling that's going to happen, if you will. But like I said, you look at the history of a lot of the animated films in the past almost decade, and most of them either through cable networks like Nickelodeon or streaming services like Netflix and Peacock and so on, all of them have gotten an animated series. A lot of them have gotten them and have gone on to be, very successful. They've gone on to be very popular series based on these films that, because of the popularity, has encouraged DreamWorks to continue making newer films to kind of, close the gap, if you will, or close the connectional continuity gap between the films and the series that are based upon them. So again, I think the bad guys are going to fall into that category. I really do. When a series is made, and again, I think one of the main story plots of it is you're going to have the chief kind of in that role of a commander, a sheriff, if you will, or whatever, basically a crime fighting official that's basically trying to expose the truth about this new group of good guys that were formerly bad guys, kind of try to put a statement on the fact of, as I mentioned earlier, oh, you can't trust them, they're lying to you, and I have the proof as to why they're lying to you, because our governor is actually the Crimson Paw kind of deal. I think that will be a great kind of plot to go with, because every episode she will try her best to expose the truth about the governor, and thus try to put the governor and her new friends, including Wolf, who is her love interest, and vice versa, as you've seen in the movie, behind bars, because, hey, if you can't trust the governor, someone that you thought you could trust, then obviously you can't trust this new group of crime fighters that used to be bad guys themselves, because, hey, the governor has proven that even if she is a governor of the people, she can't be trusted. So I expect DreamWorks to come out and make the announcement. I really do. And I expect the announcement to be made in the near future. I just get this feeling it's going to happen, and I think the story plot that they're going to go with is the fact that the series is going to be a continuation of the film, and that one of the main stories is the chief trying to expose the truth. Because again, she has that moment where she's like, because basically, like I said, at the end, you see the Zamboni diamond fall from the sky after, this trophy falls, knocks over a meteor onto the real villain of the movie, the hamster guy. And then you see the Zamboni diamond fall. She picks it up and she's like, wait a minute. This is Zamboni diamond. But this was stolen by the... And then all of a sudden she has the... with the eye twitching. And the eye twitching usually means that not only, do they figure out, oh my God, if he stole this from the governor, if the hamster guy stole this from the governor, then that means the governor... basically she has she has an aha moment kind of deal. She has an aha moment. But kind of having that aha moment with the twitching of the eye, if you will, which is usually a signal of the fact that when a character has a twitching of the eye like that, like woo, it usually means that not only did they put two and two together, but they just come to the realization of the person that they call the real boss, like the one that's way above them, is the thief they've been trying to capture for years. The one that's been, uncapturable and inescapable, and basically uncapturable and caughtable, or uncaughtable, if you will. Actually unidentified, caughtable is basically how you could look at it. And apparently my computer did do an update here. I'll have to check that in a minute. Once things clear up. Either that or just crash because there are a lot of things going. I don't know. But anyway, like I said, she has that moment to where she kind of figures it out, like, oh my God, my main boss, the governor, is the criminal I've been looking for. So to me, going that route is a route that I think, because it hasn't been really used that much in years, would be really refreshing and fun to, follow, for who knows how many episodes they'll do. Because, again, from a, excuse me, from a story aspect, she's going to want to try her best to expose the truth about the bad guys. She's going to want to try her best to expose the truth. Expose them for being, not trustworthy, because the person that's been partying them, if you will, and siding with them and say, hey, let's give them a chance, is that legendary, non-capturable, non-identified thief, the Crimson Paw. So, yeah. I definitely think, in closing, I definitely think The Bad Guys is going to get a movie. It's not a movie, but a series, which is also going to help tie into the films and all that. And I was right. It did do an update because I never see the auto renew for McAfee virus protection unless it does do an update, and it did. But like I said, getting back to the point here, like I said, I do expect a series to be announced, and I do expect it to be the kind of series that's going to, tie into not only the first film being a continuation of it, but I also expect it to be a connection point for future films, because there's going to be future films in the down the line, because obviously they're hinting at it already with this end credit scene to lead into a series, if not movies, future movies. As well as I expect the series to also have episodes that are loosely adapted, and inspiredly adapted by some of the other stories they have in the Bad Guys series. But what do you guys think? What are your thoughts on DreamWorks potentially doing a Bad Guys series? What do you think of the plot scenario that I've, kind of thought about that they could come up with, following the ending of the film here, and what is, with the kind of like the revelation or the aha or like the oh my God moment by the chief realizing the governor and Foxington, like the governor and the Crimson Paw are one and the same. What are your thoughts about that? Do you think they'll go that route of, hey, here's the chief that wants to do what's right, kind of playing that role of an anti-protagonist who wants to do what's right, but also is sort of like a thorn or becoming a thorn in the bad guy's side, because she's trying to identify not only them as being those that you can't really trust, but also the fact that the reason you can't trust them is because the person that helped pardon them or has been siding with them is actually the Crimson Paw thief herself. What are your thoughts? How do you feel about that possibility? Let me know down below in the comments, as well as in the live chat during the premiere, where super chats and super stickers are open. Also, guys, just to let you know, and I'll probably do a separate video on this, Super thanks is now enabled. Yes, I recently got a notice from YouTube and Google that I have qualified, and now I have the super thanks button on my videos so that if you can't donate through the super chats, you can donate through the super thanks as well, and that would be greatly appreciated. Also, check me out at my Teespring store and all the various other places you could find me, including Venmo at Brian-Walmer-2 and Cash App at BWRoses98. And until next time, guys, I will talk to y'all later. But let me know what your thoughts are, and I'm out.